morning to you all. At the outset, let me, on behalf of the Hyderabad Public School, welcome each and everyone to a brand new initiative, the HPS Leadership Programme. While many think leadership is a personality trait, we at HPS, in collaboration with Educis, see it as an ability that each student can unlock. As the young leaders of tomorrow, communication skills aid both performance and adaptability to help make your child the best version of themselves. In a world where we are over inundated with information, meaningful and effective communication is the only way to be heard over all the competing voices. Through a combination of lectures, interactive sessions, hands-on workshops, and activities, we guide your children on an exciting journey to find the true essence of what it means to be a leader. It is our pleasure to have Mr. Prikshit Dhanda with us today, Chief Mentor Educis. Professionally trained from Harvard University, Mr. Dhanda is one of the leading life coach, motivational speaker, and career coaches in the country. With over 20 years of experience, he has mentored and trained more than 2 million students across domains and regions. Understanding students' aspirations, along with their aptitude, and motivating them to achieve excellence has kept him busy for more than 2 decades. Mr. Dhanda is an accredited MBTI and Pyro B, and he has blended the use of these instruments in training sessions for teachers and principals and also corporate executives. His insights about people and situations and analysis of human nature makes him one of the most sought after trainers in the educational forum. His students are well-known founders, country heads, and senior executive ranked professionals. Once again, we welcome you, sir. Over to Mr. Prikshit Dhanda.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thanks to Principal Sir and of course to the HPS community. I'm so happy to be here. First of all, I must congratulate HPS. Why? Because and parents, I would say students and parents, we are all very lucky because it's not even, I mean, let's talk about 1.5 million schools in the country, and out of which 3.5 lakh private schools in the country. Not even 1%, I repeat, not even 1% schools in the country would have taken this initiative. So I must congratulate and appreciate the management and of course the able leadership of principals are here. Parents, what are we trying to do? We're trying to, along with academics, just like in every school, there is academics and there is life skills being taught, we're also bringing in leadership from as early as grade 1 to grade 12. So therefore, and of course, enable partnership between HPS and Educis. And Mr. Vanshnathani, who's the founder, is already here along with the able team. So dear parents, let me ask you a question. And I see many parents here. What is it that you would want your kids to be? Let me phrase it differently. If there were few qualities that you would want your daughter or your son to have, what would they be? And team, do they have access to the chat? Right? Okay. Parents, if you would like to chat, yeah, if you could just write. I'm just waiting. If there is anyone who would like to say, I would.
Prikshit sir, they're sending messages in Q&A, so you can check there.
Okay.
There's a parent who's really focused and determined.
Okay.
So
right. Ms. Neha saying focused and determined, right? Okay. Perfectly fine. Anyone else? Future ready, independent and responsible. Lovely. Confident, empowered. And of course, communicative. Right. Be responsible for their behavior and actions. Thank you so much, Mr. Akash. Really good human being. I would like my son to be a human being, would be looked up. Inspirational leader. Lovely. Sustaining skills. Positive and responsible persons. Well, dear parents, you've said it all. With my son should be happy identifying the importance of leadership. Great. Thank you so much. So therefore, I also wrote just a couple of pointers, which I'm sharing with you. If any young student can be, with all that you've already talked about, goal-oriented, honest, ethical, hardworking, disciplined, good listener, empathy, communicator, decision-making capability, and of course, responsibility and ownership that you talked about, positive mindset, encouraging, initiative taking, right? And I'm just picking up a couple of more here. They need to be independent, more confident, and be a good leader with great sportsmanship. So therefore, the endeavor of this program that we are starting at HPS is to bring in these aspects early on. My next question to all of you: is there any right age for us to bring in leadership, or how do you feel? Should it be brought at a much later stage or as early as when they are developing, when they are budding young students, as early as maybe 6 to 7 year olds? As early as possible. Thank you so much. As early as possible, as early as 6 to 7. Exactly. So when these young ones go to school, can you also tell me, is it just the students, or we also need to connect with these stakeholders? And can you tell me who are the stakeholders here? As per my understanding, parents will be the most critical stakeholders, as also teachers and the school. Yes, absolutely. Parents, teachers, and mentors. Thank you so much. So therefore, as parents, we will discuss that part later. As a school, what are we trying to do is to not only introduce them to effective communication, conflict resolution, how to interact with their peers and their teachers and parents, and more importantly, initiative as early as these years, initiative, confidence, creativity, and innovation. So let me kind of touch upon these words. Initiative taking. And before that, let me also bring in another aspect. Parents, let's go back about 15 years or 20 years. The kind of world that many of you grew up, that world is very different to the ones our kids are looking at. When you talk about words like chat GPT, AI, machine learning, technology, when we move to something called gadgets, social media, digital media, many of the parents would not have had that when they were in these years. So therefore, adaptability, understanding, handling distractions, how to navigate, and that's what is the need of the hour. So this program starts with effective leadership, intrapersonal, personal, and interpersonal at this early age. I would also like my colleague, Ms. Viha, will take you through the entire program, the broad outlines. This is going to be an yearly program from grade 1 to 2 to 3 and on to grade 12. And each grade, the program is progressive, moves on. Early years, which is grade 1 to 3, then 4 to 7, and then 8 to 12. And this would mean the young kids would meet great leaders, great coaches, And therefore, there is a proper program which Viha will kind of introduce in a short while. And how these students are going to be exposed to this program. My next question to all of you, parents, is when it comes to parents' role, can you share few areas where parents can also partner and parents can also take care of, or maybe exposing them to leadership early on? What is parents' role? How can they effectively bring in this part with students? I'm again waiting for the text to start. Be role model. Thank you so much. Encourage them. Support and guidance. Thank you, Mr. Raj. Mr. Venkatraman, give encouragement to kids, right? Set right examples. Vamshi, thank you so much. Vihan, encourage them in all activities. So when you see a young one taking initiative, is learning this program in the school where they are being told how to be empathetic, how to be sensitive to other students, right? How to interact with them, how to collaborate together, how to do projects, assignments, understand each other's needs, help each other, okay? Then come up with bright ideas, new ideas, right? And they come back and they discuss these things at home. What a lovely partnership when parents could also say, wow, let's listen to you. Let's listen to what you did at school, right? What are you thinking? So therefore, we are trying to do this to bring in initiative, right? Of course, this will all lead to great self-confidence and self-esteem. Giving small tasks at home and guiding them, right? Tell them it's okay to fail or make mistakes. Thank you so much. This is so important here, right? Now, my next question, very simple, okay? I'm sorry, I'm trying to draw in the parents here. When you're talking about grade 8 to grade 7 or grade 6, can you tell me what are the other few areas within communication that parents that come to your mind to be an effective communicator? Yes. How to be an effective communicator and what all is required in communication? Yes, I'm again waiting. Set right examples, give encouragement. Great. Yes.
We have the chat open, so
thank you. That makes my life easy, Vansh.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, because I have to go there to check. Freedom to speak. Listen more, speak as needed, have no fear. Mr. Trudiman, Ms. Deepthi, freedom to speak. Mr. Ms. Saida, to be a good listener, confidence, open up, clarity of thoughts. Perfectly. Give confidence to kids. Free environment. Perfect. Beautifully said. Yes, accept their failure, empathy. When I'm listening to this, when I'm reading this, it seems, these kids are in a classroom and the session is going on. Of course, there'll be activity-based sessions, and I can see these young ones sitting and understanding these things. And why, my dear parents, I've already read your comments, and you're all in sync with that this should start as early as possible. Just imagine having these young ones, and I'm seeing a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old sharing their own stories, interacting with them, doing their group projects, understanding what it means to support others. If you are having a bad day, if you're not in a great mood, how to if there's someone who's sad, how to go up to them and say, hey, listen, we are all with you, right? Sometimes motivating each other, Okay, listening to stories. Most importantly, being able to talk about yourself, talk about what you're feeling, right? Interaction with teachers, right? Having the ability to say, I am given the freedom to reflect, to talk, to tell you what I'm feeling. So that's all part of effective communication, right? And then how to represent yourself, how to talk about yourself. The joy of participation, right, is very important. In today's world, we become result obsessed. The joy of participation. Mr. Akash, thank you so much. Be inclusive. So therefore, dear parents, this is all that you've talked about. You'll be happy to know that it's all incorporated in the program that's being brought in. And I am, every time I speak to Dr. Bali and I tell him, thank you so much for doing this for the kids so early on in their life. This would mean, and I love the call that HPS wants to, not that they haven't done that, they have been doing this for ages, for 100 years. But the thing is, this is a beautiful program, a lovely program where we are trying to channelize their energy early on from grade 1 to 12. Absolutely. So I am going to let Viha come in here and share the program, and then we will take questions also, right? Viha, is that okay? If you could just kind of give them an idea about the program.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights with us. Pravar, could you please pull up the presentation? Great. So now that sir has set the scene for us and inspired us with his wonderful words, I'm going to simply take you through the objective of what this program is and give you a little bit of a breakdown module by module of what we're doing. Next, please, Pravar. Yeah. So as you know, the entire program is designed under the mentorship of Mr. Prikshit Dhanda, who was just addressing us. Can we move ahead, please, Pravar? Next, please. Great. So before we get into the actual modules, we want to talk a little bit about what the objectives of this curriculum are. So we've built them with 6 main end goals in mind, features that we would like each student today to be instilled with and hope that they can have better access to. So the first would be identifying their unique leadership style. As we all know, there's no one correct method of leadership. There's several different ways in which we can inspire others, in which we can touch others. As Sir mentioned, there are intrapersonal methods of leadership too, where we need to create harmony within ourselves as well. So our first main goal here is to help each student identify their own specific form of leadership and help them see where and how they can take themselves and their group forward. The second is to learn meaningful communication. In today's world, we're all talking all the time and we have so much to say and we have so much to hear, but there's very little that actually makes an impact on our minds. So how do we craft and create messages that actually mean something and actually can have the impact of influence on other people? Next is the art of presentation. Here, we're not simply talking about digital PPTs or standing up and pulling up a screen that says something. We're talking about how one presents themselves, because we all love to say that never judge a book by its cover, but first impressions are automatic. So how do you best present yourself so that you are always taken seriously, so that you are trustworthy, and so that people would always turn to you when they need something? Next is the importance of empathy. Empathy in today's day and age could not be more important, sorry. It is of crucial importance that we understand those around us, that we can see and recognize their fears, their interests, and move forward as a society and a whole. Next is ethical leadership. At a young age, we've really struggled with ideas of right and wrong. And as we grow up, those are hugely influenced by those around us. So how do we make sure that when we're making decisions, especially for more than one person, they always adhere to those morals of right and wrong? And the final is conflict resolution, wherein we look at whether or not you should even engage in a conflict in the first place, and what is the best, least violent, and by that I mean verbally and emotionally, way to resolve that conflict. Next, please, Prabhat. So now let's look at the modules that we have in place for grades 1 to 3. The very first is cultivating active listening skills, We all listen, but very few of us actually actively listen. How often have you been talking to your child and you've just heard them saying, yes, mama, or yes, papa, and you know they've not heard a word you've said? So active listening is actually a skill that we all need to work on, wherein we put in as much effort into listening as we do in speaking, so that the words that are being said to us actually have an impact. We will be doing this through a variation of activities, including pausing and paraphrasing games, wherein we have to rephrase what's been said to us, interactive listening games, and establishing listening buddies so that people become responsible for the wants and hopes of others. Next, please. Next would be first impressions and presenting yourself. At that young age, one of the main objectives in life is to just get out there and have fun. But how do you do all of this while also maintaining a good impression of yourself, not just for others, but for yourself as well? So how do you best put yourself forward? How do you introduce yourself? How do you speak to others? How do you maintain something like that? Next, please. Next becomes the importance of compassion and empathy. As I was just saying, the importance of empathy is of utmost in today's society. We are all so self-centric because of the nature of the media and everything that we often forget about the needs of others. And at the same time, we need to draw a line between becoming too sympathetic so that we don't occupy somebody else's point of view. So we will be guiding them to better understand other people's perspectives and help without actually taking the emotional impact of their pain. We'll be doing this through storytelling and character building exercise, as well as role-playing scenarios. Next, please. And the final module for grades 1 to 3 is the importance of speech and storytelling. Now, often when we say storytelling, we literally just think of books and stories of a fictional variety, but that's not what we mean here. Of course, characters are important and narratives are important, but what we're really talking about here is how to present your own visions and your own experiences as a story of value, how to present yourself with a speech that would encapsulate your entire essence and how best to take forward your own goals. We'll be doing this through imagination stations, story circles, and character creations to help children get in touch with their creativity and better envision their own goals. Next, please. Now let's move on to the modules for grades 4 to 7. First, again, presentation and planning. At no point do we decentralize presentation because we realize that not only does this change as you grow, it also gains more and more importance. So once again, helping students understand how best to present themselves. And here we again start tapping into that more formal side of presentation, which is speaking, making mock business proposals, figuring out how best to put across their ideas. Next, please. Structuring and goal visualization. By the time they've reached this point of their life, there is a certain understanding of where they want to head into in the future. Often this can change, of course, but that beginning of an idea of who they want to be is of utmost importance. Helping them understand how they can eventually reach those goals, how they can best follow that path is what we're here for. We'll be achieving this through vision boards, time management games, and even journaling out their true feelings and reflecting on what they want to be. Next, please. Introduction to leadership styles. As I was saying, there's no singular leadership style. There are several different ones, and each of us actually has our own unique leadership style. However, because of the media, we believe that a leader is somebody who stands on a podium and speaks and tells others what to do. So in this module, we'll be talking about the 6 most common styles of leadership and helping each child tap into their own specific style of leadership. We'll be doing this through an anecdote game and identifying role models. Next, please. Types of communication. Now, as we were talking about meaningful communication, it's important to understand that there are 7 main patterns of communication. Each of these is used for different kinds of messages that you want to give, but often we blur the lines and we use the wrong one for the wrong form of message. So in this module, we will be using comparative role-playing games and group discussions to understand how different types of communication affect the message we are putting across. Next, please. Audience and perspective. In today's day and age, when we make a speech, it is never about us. Mr. Prikshit Dhanda was here talking to you, but the speech was not about him. It's about the school. It's about the audience. It's about you as parents. So how do we understand how we can address an audience and see things through their point of view and put across their needs before our own? Next, please. Collaboration and team spirit. As they say, the whole is only as strong as the team. So we will be looking at how best you can work in a team, how best you can not only enable and enhance the collaborative spirit, but actually benefit off of it, not just in words, but in true essence of what it means to be a team. We'll be doing this through team-based sports and games, group problem-solving activities, and community service projects. Next, please. Conflict resolution and negotiation. As we mentioned at the start, we'd be talking about how and which arguments to even pick up in the first place, what wars are worth fighting, put it more colloquially, and understanding how best to de-escalate situations and keep as many parties happy as long as the right decision for the group is made. Next, please. An introduction to creative writing and debate. As kids grow older, these are some of the most important skills they can have. A writer is identifiable from a crowd because of the way they put themselves forward, because of the way they speak. And debate is a skill that is used actually in everyday life. So we will be helping introduce them to these modules through storytelling workshops and debate clubs. Next, please. So our group of trainers is made up of individuals who've studied at marquee institutions across the world. They have gotten education both in India and abroad from the highest institutions. And please go on. Yeah, it's just brief. Yes, and we will be visiting the school to conduct these modules. Next, please. You can reach out to us at hello@educis.com. Just drop us an email or on any one of our social media platforms or our phone number. We're just going to leave this slide up for you to take down. Thank you.
Thank you, Viha. Right. Parents, as you've just kind of got a glimpse of the program, the highlights of the program. So what are we? Thank you, Vamshi. And this is only from grade 1 to 7, right? You'd love to, when the students move to 8 and 12, that's a completely different program there. Of course, with more deliverables, moving on to the requirements of the senior grade. So what are we looking at in nutshell? First, interact with students to be able to help them with their personality building, effective communication, understanding their strengths and development areas, learning presentation skills, group work, collaboration, conflict resolution, peer-to-peer handling, taking initiatives, right? Talking about entrepreneurship, interpersonal leadership. And from there, moving on to senior grades, representing the school, representing themselves at the highest levels. And in these 12 years, building themselves and becoming effective leaders. That's what the whole program is all about. And this will have many more components, right? Vansh, are you here?
Absolutely, sir.
Right. Do we take up questions or how do we?
Yes. For the remaining time, we've kept ample time for questions. We've already answered a fair number in the chat box and the Q&A section. If there are more, we're happy to answer them. Otherwise, I think everyone can enjoy their Sunday.
Yes, absolutely. If Principal Sir is here with us, if he would like us to address on any particular point.
Yes. So a lot of questions before Dr. Bali comes in are in the chat box, but are being typed to only the host and panelists, so the others can't see it. One question is, what is the mode of delivery? So this will be happening offline. As you can imagine, this program will not be as effective online. So we'll be flying down from different cities. We're based out of Bombay, Delhi, and Bangalore to Hyderabad, to the campus to deliver this program.
I think Ms. Purnima is asking, when is the program starting?
We're beginning in the first week of August, but certainly before the 10th of August. No, it won't be weekly sessions. The program is divided into 4 sessions over the course of the year. As you can imagine, it's a fair bit of time to take out from the regular school schedule. And we will be doing each session, which will be 3 hours long.
I think the school will kind of create the entire delivery module with the team. So then only we'll be able to tell you exactly. Yeah. And I like that. Ms. Shruti, thank you so much. How do you want the parents to contribute to make it more effective? Absolutely right. Ms. Shruti, if you read the initial chat, I think all of you already shared as to how parents can contribute. But just like effective listening, right? Understanding. So the most important thing that parents can do is having these conversations with students, right? Whenever the Educis team is interacting with them, or we are also doing orientation sessions for the teachers, right? Because there is the school wants all the stakeholders to be involved, right? So teachers will be doing a lot of activities with the students. Educis team will be interacting with them. So these young ones will be full of stories, ideas, and they'll come home, they'll talk to you. But there are few things that you could do, like encouraging them to talk, having conversations, listening to them, all right? And now there is one way, I'm not saying that. So there's one way we say, yeah, it's okay, done. Yeah, I'm busy, I'm caught up, we'll do this later. Or the second is involving them, understanding them, listening to them, giving wings to their ideas, right? And so therefore, there are a lot of positive things that parents could do, involving them in projects, right? Hobbies and interests, right? Okay. Inculcating these, like, for example, it could be reading as a hobby. Your student can play games, right? Little bit of getting to interact with relatives. Within hobbies also, it's like, it can be art, it can be music, it can be sketching, painting, it can be any aspect, anything. Abhishek, would you like to add a couple of things that these young ones, grade 1 to 7, can involve themselves in?
Sure, sir. I was just fascinated with parents asking such good questions. It makes me really happy that they are equally involved. Just a quick point, like Via has walked you through different modules. Please try and understand that even though it seems a little too early, but the time that these kids are growing up, this is actually very fast evolving. I think all of us have grown up at a time, including all the parents, where things were a little slow moving. So we had time to adjust, but these kids don't even get the time. So these interactions are purely there and intended so that they are getting ahead of everything that's there and are aware and able to adapt very quickly. And although these kids are fast learners, but it's equally important to make sure that we don't lose out on essential skills. In fact, one question that all of us kept in mind was that AI coming in, tech coming in, what's going to happen to opportunities. This is where human skills come in. And the sooner we get the better of them, easier it will be for the kids to look at better careers, look at adapting to things. So that's what I want to add, sir.
Thank you so much. Vansh, there was another question from Mr. Kamlakar. Is the program or all the years forward? That's right. This is a progressive program from grade 1 till 12, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think answer that in detail, that we intend to run this as an annual program because it ties together to be a transformative journey for students. Because in grade 12, we even have something which is really not spoken about too much, like financial literacy. We're also helping them with moot courts, modern United Nations, debating training, British parliamentary style. And there's a lot happening over the years. We've kept that for the 7 to 12 orientation, but the modules for grades 1 to 6 have been showed to you today.
Thank you, Vansh. And Mr. Rajshekhar Reddy, a very good question. How do you assess the child? And it is unique. Grade 1 to 6, we don't do assessment. Why? Because these are formative years. Therefore, we don't want to bring the pressure on, oh, you know what, this is the assessment. So therefore, this is basically a unique program where grade 1 to 6, we just letting them explore. 7 to 12, definitely, as they move to senior grades, some form of assessment comes in, right? Absolutely. That's the exact, I think, is that Sharvani, right? Hope kids don't equate becoming leaders with becoming toppers. Thank you so much. You just said it. Yes, absolutely. This is not about, hi, I am a better leader than you are. The whole program is trying to tell them that there are unique ways that you can develop your skill set. That's right. Any other question? Miss, I think, Samta, will parents get to see how about the outcomes of the workshop conducted so that we can contribute? Or definitely, you will see the outcome when teachers and Educis team, when they are working, definitely as part of the program, you will get to see the outcome at home. And please continue having these conversations, work around, and it's a two-way learning, both for parents as well as students. Dr. Bali, would you want us to address any other particular point, please?
No, that's okay. There was one question, what is the fee? So parents don't need to worry about the fee. School is taking care of the entire cost of the program. So there's no cost going to the parents. And this is so critical in today's time and ages. I remember hearing Mr. Narayan Murthy once, who said that we hire every year thousands of engineers. And he said they are all hireable, but not employable. That's the crisis the current generations are facing, because they don't have the basic soft skills. They don't have the basic team spirit in terms of how to engage in a conversation on a table with 10 other intellectuals. So we are trying to create that kind of an environment that they are ready for the future world. They are mentally tough, emotionally stable, and think creatively and collaboratively. So that's why we have brought the team Educis. They made a fantastic presentation to the board and us, and we were really impressed with their background and what they are bringing on the table, and that's why we have started. So this program is for everybody. There's no eligibility criteria. Every child of HPS has to go through this program, and this is going to be a year-long program. The most beneficial ones will be grade 1, because over the next 12 years, they'll go through each module. And I'm really excited to see the outcome in terms of how children fare and grow as an individual leader.
Thank you so much.
There are quite a lot of questions, Mr. Dhanda. You can please keep answering.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Bali. And Mr. I think Swati Pasumarthi, really appreciate. This is an amazing program. That's what I said in the beginning. Not even 1% of the marquee schools in the country, and I'm going on record to share, they don't have this kind of a program. Yeah, so I really appreciate HPS for bringing this and understanding that and starting it as early as grade 1. So great. Thank you so much, Dr. Bali's leadership, as well as, of course, the management.
Sorry, just going to jump in for a second, because this question has shown up a few times about whether this program would help introverts. And absolutely the answer is yes, because in fact, I would say it would benefit introverts more than anyone else, because that base fear of communication or how to present yourself often hinders us from taking up opportunities. But this entire program is aimed towards making you more confident. And as I mentioned, even intrapersonal leadership, how do we harmonize our thoughts with our actions? So absolutely, this program, if anything, is geared towards helping introverts more than anything else. Hope that answers.
Riha, thank you so much for highlighting that. And if I can add to what Ms. Sara Mahmood asked, will this program help introverts? Ms. Sara, our whole understanding of leadership is you need to be a great orator, public speaker, socially very well connected. Suddenly your personality is like that. That makes you an effective leader. The student sitting silently in one corner of the room can also be a great leader. So therefore, it's got, thank you, Viha, very well answered. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Great. Thank you so much. And I must appreciate parents, incredible insights and very supportive thought process. Thank you so much. We are absolutely sure this program is going to be a great success. Vansh, anything else?
I've been furiously typing to answer the questions in the chat box. Not much else from me. I think we're 15 minutes before the scheduled slot, so that's wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. And dear parents, it's not that this is the only conversation that we are having. Okay, there'll be more times when we will interact with you, and please feel free to connect. Thank you so much.
And also, parents, every time the program is scheduled, the parents will get an intimation about the date and the time from the school, so that you can engage in a conversation with your child on the same evening as to what he or she went through, how the session was, what did they do, what did they enjoy, etc., etc. And at the same time, it will also help you to make sure that your child doesn't miss that particular day of the school, because it's going to be 4 3-hour sessions in a year, spread over a year.
Thank you.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you, Dr. Bali and the HPS team. There are a lot of words of appreciation for you in the chat box. Thank you, Mr. Dhanda, for making the time today and for the team being here. Have a wonderful Sunday, parents, and you can write to us at hello@Educis. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You can be in touch with us. We also have a number there, and we look forward to interacting with you more so. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.